Hello and welcome back to Artemisse Tarot. Thank you for joining me for today's reading, in which we will be doing a deep dive into how your future spouse truly sees you. We'll take a look at 3 different stages in your love journey with your future spouse and find out how they see you during each stage. These 3 stages are when you first meet, during your dating and courtship phase, and finally when the two of you are married. We'll be tapping into how your person really sees you deep in their heart, which means we could be revealing some secret love messages that your future spouse may not even outwardly tell you, or some bottled up feelings that may be surprising or unexpected. So whether you have yet to meet your person, or you've got someone special in mind, or even if you are already married, there will be messages in here for you. We have 4 readings for you to choose from today, and I have some paper butterflies to help you choose. Group 1 has this yellow butterfly. Group 2 has this pink butterfly. Group 3 has this blue butterfly. And group 4 has this purple butterfly. Please take your time to pick the reading that you are drawn to the most. Feel free to pause the video if you need to. Once you've decided, you can find your timestamp down below, and I will meet you at your reading. This reading is for those of you who have chosen the yellow butterfly. Welcome to your reading all about how your future spouse sees you through the different stages of your love journey. First of all, I would like to say thank you all very much for leaving such lovely comments and for liking my videos. It really does help this channel grow, and I do appreciate so much all of your support and love. In today's reading, we will be taking a look at how your future spouse truly sees you at 3 different stages of your love journey, including when you two first meet, when you two are dating, and finally when you are married. So it'll kind of feel like 3 mini readings, which I'm quite excited for, so I hope you are as well. We'll be aiming to bring to surface how your future spouse sees you in the depth of their heart, so these could even be messages that they are too shy to tell you, or perhaps some findings may be rather different from how you think they see you. Let's jump right into the first part of the reading, which will be on how your future spouse sees you when you first meet. This could be their very first impression of you, or how they see you and feel about you when you first enter each other's lives. For some of you who may not meet in person with your future spouse initially, this will refer to that beginning phase when you first start communicating and getting to know each other. So regardless of if your first meeting was online, via text, in the real, or whatever your unique situation may be, let's find out how they honestly see and feel about you at the very start of your love journey. First, for your tarot cards, you have the 10 of Pentacles, and also the 3 of Wands. Immediately, I get the strong sense that your future spouse takes a liking to you right away. They may not reveal their attraction towards you until a little further along in your relationship, but they definitely have a lot of powerful feelings for you right from very, very early on. For some of you watching, it could even be love at first sight, or I should say more of a familiarity or comfort at first sight. The 10 of Pentacles talks about abundance, completion, family, and a safe and warm home, as well as fulfillment, especially in tangible and physical aspects. So it's very likely that they will sense that bond with you immediately. And for a few of you who picked this pile, your future spouse may fantasize from quite early on about marrying you and building a family with you. Pentacles are earth, and earth represents solid foundations, which makes me think of your person seeing you as the perfect partner for them to settle down with, to build a life together. Even if they had a reputation for being a player in the past, or if they don't seem at all ready to commit and be tied down, when you first come into their life, they see such strong signs that you are the one for them, that these desires for marriage and commitment start stirring very powerfully within them, whether they like it or not. As well, the physical aspect of earth energy also makes me think of chemistry and the physical connection. And paired with the fire energy of the Three of Wands, it looks like your person will feel overwhelmingly magnetic attraction towards you when you first meet. In particular, the Three of Wands is about expansion and exploring new uncharted territory. So in this case, it could mean that for some of you watching, from the get-go, your future spouse is called to go on a journey with you, and so they find the courage to step out into the unknown with you by their side. The Three of Wands can also talk about strength, leadership, and communication. So it could be that your person either sees you as this strong, inspiring leader, and they are mesmerized by you, or they are the one who wants to take the lead with you and claim you as their person and show you the world. However, I notice that the person in the Three of Wands has their back toward us, and also in the Ten of Pentacles, the main figure here is turned away from us as well. This could mean that for many of you who chose this reading, your future spouse may keep all their feelings hidden or at least toned down at the beginning. Perhaps it's because they don't want to scare you away by bombarding you with all their strong desires and hopes for your future, or maybe they are actually quite shy or inexperienced when it comes to real love and romantic gestures. As well, I want to mention that for a small number of you, the start of your journey with your future spouse may be based on a purely physical connection, or so it may seem on the surface. Because even if you both agree on a no-strings-attached kind of situation, your person definitely feels that deeper bond which will make them dream about you and envision you being their life partner, as opposed to just having a short-term or purely physical relationship. They may not even admit it to themselves, but the Ten of Pentacles and the Three of Wands show that deep down in their hearts, they see you as the one they want to choose to accompany them on that lifetime love journey. We'll also take a look at a few oracle cards to give us some more clues about how they see you at first. You have 3-1, No Place Like Home, and the supermoon with the message, Emotions Are Running High. Yes, absolutely. As I mentioned before and confirmed here with the supermoon card, your future spouse experiences so many overwhelming emotions for you right away. For a lot of you, it could be that they recognize you as their soulmate before you make the realization yourself. I want to point out that there are so many shades of purple in all three of these oracle cards. Maybe a little bit of 50 Shades of Purple? Purple is made up of a blend of fiery red passion and calm blue intuition. So this is another confirmation for the way your future spouse sees you as the one with whom they have both explosive chemistry and also undeniable spiritual bond. Now for this card with the message of 3 to 1, it makes me think of family and creation, and about how when one person meets the one meant for them, together the two of them add up to create 3. This third may be an actual child for those of you who do want children, or it could refer to another kind of fruit of two people's love, which can be the relationship itself, the partnership or family you will create together, or the inspiration and hope for your shared future. And actually, now that I look closer at these cards, the way these clouds are arranged in this giant circle reminds me a lot of this round supermoon. So it's almost as if these cards together are telling us that even from the get-go, your future spouse will feel these overwhelming, powerful emotions about wanting you to be their partner in life and in love. They see you as the one they want to create with, and the one they want to build a home with, the one they want to start a family with. Another message that's coming through very strongly with this No Place Like Home card is the idea that your future spouse sees you as their home, because home is where the heart is, and they feel like they are already ready to entrust their heart in your hands. I really like this card because the image makes me think of someone who has been lost, wandering, or alone in the cold, dark world, finally being able to return home, where there's someone that loves them waiting for them, leaving a light on for them, and there is such warmth, comfort, and assurance here so that they feel safe to take off their armor and rest and recover and grow. This card also represents being comfortable in your own skin and in your own self. So for a lot of you, this card is saying that there is something about you that just makes your person feel at ease to be who they really are. And from the beginning, they have a very deep sense of trust with you. I now see why I got the feeling that for some of you, your future spouse will keep their feelings a little bit hidden at first. Clearly, these feelings are very profound and powerful, so maybe they were even shocked themselves by these feelings, and so they were taking time to come to terms with them on their own end. They probably also need the time to process things and make sure that the feelings are indeed real before they take action toward you. And I think this is very responsible and healthy of them to be more patient and to do the necessary inner shadow work and avoid love bombing you at the beginning. Finally, I have some channeled messages from your future spouse, which will tell us what they really want to say to you when you first meet, but somehow cannot say or are being kept secret. You have Take Me Home, and also Forever. Wow, all right. We love when cards confirm each other, but I don't think we need to elaborate any more on these messages because they are coming through loud and clear. I really think that for those who picked this group, you and your future spouse are definitely soulmates, and you may have had past lives together. And this is why your person feels such a strong sense of coming home when you find each other. In the second part of the reading, we'll take a look at how your future spouse sees you during your dating and courtship phase. For some of you watching, the definition of this phase can be a bit ambiguous because not every couple will establish their dating relationship clearly or right away. Sometimes people might take longer to realize they're in love, or maybe you start out with one person chasing the other. So please keep this in mind when you apply these messages to your own situation. For your tarot cards, you have the 10 of Wands and also the Death card. This is very interesting. The 10 of Wands is an overwhelming energy and talks about a feeling of biting off more than you can chew and being exhausted. As well, since wands are fire energy, for love readings, this can be interpreted as overwhelming emotions and passion, which is similar to how your future spouse sees you at the beginning when you first meet. However, the Death card talks about ending and rebirth, as well as transformation. There is a sense of shedding the excess and what no longer serves you, and embracing a better new version of yourself. There are a few ways to interpret these two cards. For some of you who chose this yellow butterfly, the Ten of Wands with the Death card are telling us that during your dating phase, your future spouse could start off by continuing to uphold the intense feelings and emotions they have for you when you first meet. However, they could start to notice a certain pressure to always be this high energy and intense, or may become worried when facing the ups and downs which will come along as a part of every relationship. The prospect and potential of your strong bond and the hope that they have for your future may actually become so overwhelming that they could even see your relationship as exhausting or as a burden. But fortunately, with the Death card here, your person will be able to realize that this kind of continued intensity is neither healthy nor sustainable, and it's also not necessary. So they'll begin to adapt and transform to find something better that works for your relationship. For others of you, I am inclined to say that there could be some sort of separation during your dating phase. Of course, you eventually get back together because they do end up as your future spouse. But these cards suggest that there will be something to overcome within you, your person, or both of you, and space may be needed in order to accomplish this. These cards can be interpreted as your future spouse seeing you as simultaneously someone who reminds them of their shortcomings, as well as hope for transformation into a better person or into their higher self. Overall, I don't think this is a bad thing at all, because they actually see you as this motivation and inspiration to better themselves. Now for your oracle cards in your dating and courtship phase, we have the Angel of Jupiter Awaken, and also Building Blocks, and you have Full Moon in Libra with the message, a win-win outcome is forecast. Starting with the Angel of Jupiter Awaken. Jupiter is the planet that represents expansion, exploration, and broadening horizons. This energy is actually reminiscent of the energy of the Three of Wands card that we saw earlier. Jupiter is also about stepping out of what you're used to and being open to a shift in perspectives. For a majority of you, this Angel of Jupiter is how your future spouse sees you during your dating phase. You are their breath of fresh air. They see you as open, positive, and curious about life. This is probably why they view you as their inspiration to step out of patterns that do not serve them and to become better and wiser. For the Building Blocks card, there is a message of strong foundations because you can see how solidly the blocks are stacked in this platform here. This card also talks about a work in progress to solidify your love and to build the future that you both want. This tells me that for those of you whose future spouse may struggle with feeling overwhelmed or burdened, they do have trust that you two have strong foundations upon which your love and relationship are built. And as such, they feel empowered and confident to overcome whatever may be standing in your way. And it's also their intention to create something with you that can withstand any storm and last a lifetime. Now, finally, with the Moonology Oracle card, which is talking about a win-win outcome, here is some reassurance for you that your relationship will work out in a way that fulfills both your and your future spouse's needs and hopes. Libra is balanced, harmonious, logical, and fair, so this could indicate that even for those of you who may go through a separation with your person, they will still see you as kind and just and understanding, and you are a great source of balance and peace for them. Moving on now to some channeled messages cards, we'll find out what your future spouse wants to tell you but aren't or cannot during your dating phase. You have missing you, and also your eyes, your lips, your heart. I think it's very clear that for those of you who do experience that separation phase during your dating, your future spouse will not stop missing you even when you are apart. They'll not only miss your physical presence with your eyes and your lips, they'll also most miss your heart and the connection between the two of you. For those of you who do not have an actual physical separation, these messages could be referring to the natural lows within your dating relationship, where you two may feel emotionally more distant than you'd like to be. Another way I feel called to interpret these messages is that for a few of you, your future spouse is not the expressive or outwardly lovey-dovey type. Perhaps they rarely say how they're feeling, or they may always put on a tough front. But deep down, they just want to tell you that they miss you and that they want to hold you and to look into your eyes, kiss your lips, and listen to your heart beating against their ears. Maybe they are a tough cookie on the outside, but a big softie on the inside. And they actually really want to pout to you and keep you in their arms all day and all night. Finally, for the last part of today's reading, let's find out about how your future spouse sees you once you are married. I'm really interested to see a comparison of then versus now. Maybe their opinion of you has completely transformed, or perhaps their love for you has stayed just as strong and fiery as when they first laid eyes on you. First, for the tarot portion, there is the Six of Swords, and also the Judgment card. Wow, I really like that we have the Six of Swords to follow the Ten of Wands from before, because while the Ten of Wands talks about overwhelming burdens, the Six of Swords represents leaving the burden behind, passage away from difficulties, as well as solutions and security. Furthermore, the Judgment card also talks about rebirth and renewal, making a decision that you know to be the right one, and freedom to be who you are meant to be and to speak your truth, to welcome your calling. With these two cards coming out together, it's quite clear to me that by the time you are married, your future spouse sees you as their reward for having the clarity to recognize you as their soulmate, for overcoming whatever burdens or obstacles that came up, and for following their heart and intuition to walk their love journey with you. The way they see you in your married life is with so much certainty and confidence that you are absolutely the person they were meant to be with. They see you as someone they can be true with, and they feel like you are exactly where they're meant to be. I also feel an overall quite mature and wise energy from these two cards. So it shows that what may have started off so new and intense at the beginning will be renewed, but in a much more mature and grounded kind of way. Through building your strong foundations, you two will really get to know each other deeply and intimately, and by this point, your person simply sees you as their life partner, and they treasure you and are so sure about you being the one meant for them. Next, we have your oracle cards. There is within nothing, there is everything. Also, there is deep knowing, and we have New moon in Taurus with prosperity lies ahead. Right away, I'm noticing that this within nothing there is everything card almost looks like it could be the mirror of the 3-to-1 card you got in the beginning. Perhaps this is another reiteration of that same desire for creation and family. It's saying that even after all this time with each other, your future spouse still sees you with a lot of the same passions and desires for togetherness and for making everything you both want and need out of nothing. This card is also about manifestation for me because it's talking about the possibility and potential to put things into existence. For a lot of you who do want children, this could be representing your future spouse's desire to have a child with you being brought up again now that you are married. It's like their initial fantasy of starting a family with you when you first met is finally becoming a reality. Of course, this manifestation can definitely be in the broader sense, and for those who don't want children, this would be referring to your future spouse desiring to manifest and co-create with you the perfect life that you both want together. I'm also getting the idea that they feel as long as you two have each other, you need nothing else, because when you're together, you have everything you need to create and manifest your shared future. And as I was mentioning earlier with these tarot cards, now that you are married, your future spouse sees you in a much more mature and connected way as there is a deep knowing of one another now. And from this deep knowing comes a strong sense of security and comfort. There is this owl, which represents wisdom, and the moon, which talks about intuition and things unseen. So at this stage, your person sees you as someone they are connected to on a much higher and deeper level. And finally, with a new moon in Taurus, your person foresees such a bright and prosperous marriage with you. Taurus is ruled by Venus and is an earth sign. So this new moon in Taurus also makes me think that your future spouse will see you with a renewed sense of passion and attraction. Because as you continue to know each other more deeply, intimacy builds and creates even more profound attraction. So I don't think you have to worry about ever losing that spark because your person sees you as even more alluring and magnetic than when you first met. Now then, to finish off this lovely reading, let's take a look at these two channeled messages cards, which represent the deepest desires that your future spouse wants to tell you during your married life together. You got, I want you, ooh. And also you have passion. Wow, how steamy. I was just saying with a new moon in Taurus that there will be renewed passion, and here it is in your channeled messages. I think it's pretty clear what they want, and what they want is you. I love that we have come full circle with such strong passion in the beginning and still such strong passion here in the end. But you've grown together and evolved together and found your home within each other now. Those are all the messages I have for you today. I really enjoyed doing this reading for you and hope that you liked this format of 3 mini readings. Absolutely feel free to claim all the messages you would like, and please remember this is a general reading, so don't worry if not every single message was for you. Also, as always, I want to remind you that we all have the ability to shape our own destinies. So please feel empowered, because if there's something you don't like in your reading, trust that you do have the ability to influence and change it. Please let me know in the comments below if things resonated for you, and please feel free to leave a like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one. This reading is for those of you who have chosen the pink butterfly. Welcome to your reading all about how your future spouse sees you throughout the different stages of your love journey. First things first, I would like to say thank you all so much for leaving such lovely comments and liking my videos. It really does help this channel grow, so thank you for all your support and all your love. In today's reading, we'll be breaking things down into 3 different phases of your love journey with your future spouse, which are when you two first meet, when you're dating, and finally when the two of you are married. It will kind of feel like 3 mini readings, so I hope you are excited. We'll be taking a peek into your future spouse's heart, so there could even be messages that they're too shy to tell you, or findings that are rather different from how you think they see you. Starting with the first part of this reading, which will be on how your future spouse sees you when you first meet. This could be their very first impression of you, or how they see and feel about you when you enter each other's lives. For some of you who may not meet in person with your future spouse initially, this will refer to that phase when you begin communicating and getting to know each other. Regardless of if your first meeting was online, via text, in the real, or whatever your particular situation may be, we'll figure out how your future spouse truly sees and feels about you at the very beginning. First, for your tarot cards, you have the Magician. Wow. And also the 7 of Swords. This is a curious combination. The Magician is an amazing energy all about manifestation, creation, confidence, and power. It is most likely that for those of you who picked this reading, your future spouse will immediately recognize you as the one they have been manifesting all along. Even if they aren't explicitly aware of the law of attraction and manifestation, they likely have been intuitively manifesting their soulmate. And so when you come into their life, they feel an overwhelmingly strong sense that you are their person. They see you as someone who easily checks off all the boxes on their list of what they want in a lover and partner, and they are drawn to you like a moth to a flame. However, there is also the 7 of Swords card, which talks about a sneaky or deceptive energy, or the desire to escape, betray, or steal. On this note, the dark side of the Magician card can also talk about manipulation or trickery. So for a majority of you watching, I'm interpreting this as your future spouse thinking that you are hiding something when they first meet you. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean they think you have bad intentions. Instead, I feel it's more like they believe you could be hiding your true self, or you're not sharing your true feelings with them. For example, perhaps you are going through a very difficult time, and you pretend to be strong and never show anything on the outside. Other people may be fooled by your tough facade, but your person will be able to intuitively see through it right away. This deception could also be you hiding your feelings or attraction for them. For whatever reason you may have, you might be concealing the fact that you like them back. And this could lead them astray, confuse them, or make them question whether you really are the person they were meant to be with. If we look at the 7 of Swords, it seems like this person's trying to steal all these swords. So for a few of you watching, it could even mean that your person thinks they need to steal you away from someone or something else. For example, perhaps you are already taken when you first meet this person. So while they have such a strong knowing that you are the one they have been manifesting, they also have this guilty conscience because of the thought of having to steal you away from someone else. If this is your case, it could be that your future spouse started liking you way before you even realized it. They may not act on their feelings when they first meet you because you are with someone else already, or because you are preoccupied with another important thing in your life, or because they are led to believe that you aren't interested in them. For a few of you though, It could also be that at the beginning, due to some sort of misunderstanding maybe, your future spouse has the impression that you are a bad or deceptive person. Perhaps the misunderstanding caused them to think you're someone who betrays your loved ones. However, they are conflicted because they feel the undeniable sense of attraction towards you and realize that you fit the bill for their ideal partner, while at the same time they are under the belief that you are such a terrible person, so logically they don't understand why they would like you so much. It honestly looks like for the most of you, things are a little complicated when you first meet your future spouse. So let's take a look at some oracle cards now to help us shed a little bit more light on the circumstances of your situation. You have coming together and fork in the road, and also new moon in Aries with the message, it's time to take action. I really like this coming together card. It's one of my favorites in this deck actually. The message and the image make me think of two people's paths crossing and creating these beautiful sparks. It reminds me of chemistry and how love is like a chemical reaction. Two people come together and transform and create something new. Every reaction is different depending on the participants. It could be heated, fast, and explosive, or slow and steady and sneaking up on you without you realizing. Regardless, if you found the right person, both of you are changed forever, and your new bond is unbreakable and irreversible. With such strong, colorful, explosive chemistry, I'm quite certain that your future spouse will be truly very attracted to you from the get-go. And another thing that comes to mind is that this coming together reminds me of a collision, or even a clash of two powerful energies. This could represent two different interpretations. One is the idea that your person believes that your paths were absolutely meant to collide, and the other is the possibility that at this point in your journey, your person sees that you two may be going head-to-head or clashing in a way that is not harmonious. This could be referring to those of you who are not able to be together with your future spouse at the start of your love journey. You see these two energies are coming together and creating powerful explosive colors and sparks, but they're not merging, and instead they are spinning in different directions. And like we mentioned with the Seven of Swords, stealthy, deceptive energy, your person feels to be at a fork in the road because they can tell that something is off. But it's like they're lost in the forest, and so when they reach this fork in the road, they may really have a hard time figuring out which road to take. On the one hand, they feel the strong attraction with you. That was what they have been looking for this entire time. But on the other hand, there are circumstances or logical reasons that are keeping you two apart or causing you two to clash. For some of you, your future spouse will still choose to chase this love connection with you at this point in your love journey, and they will feel the inspiration to take the necessary action as seen in this new moon in Aries card. But it's very likely that for many others of you who chose this pink butterfly, your future spouse will take the action of choosing not to pursue your love connection at this stage. But of course, if this is your situation, don't worry that you might pass each other by, because if they are the person who is meant to become your future spouse, you will find your way back to one another when the timing is right. You may become friends at first instead, or maybe even lose contact with each other for a while before coming together again. But regardless of which action they choose to take, at the beginning of your relationship journey, they will see you as the person who helps them evolve in their own path by putting them at a fork in the road where they will have to step up and decide that it's time to take action. I also have these 2 channeled messages cards, which will give us an idea of what your future spouse wants to say to you at this beginning phase of your love journey when you first meet. These could be messages that they do not want to or cannot tell you at this time. You have lost, and also there is healing. I think these messages fit very well with the energies we were getting from the tarot and oracle cards. Your future spouse is lost in the forest, but wants to assure you that both of you are on the right path toward healing. And when they, you, or both of you are healed enough, and also in divine timing, you will reunite. For the few of you whose future spouse chooses to take action of pursuing this love with you from the get-go, these cards are saying that due to the complications with hidden feelings or with you being already taken or romantically involved with someone else, they could first feel lost and confused and might take a moment for healing before they're able to take action towards you. So these cards are saying that your person wants to tell you they are a little lost or sorting out confusing feelings within themselves right now. And it's not that they have any intention to hurt you, because they absolutely do not want that at all. Moving on now to the second part of this reading, we'll be finding out how your future spouse sees you during the dating and courting part of your relationship journey. For some of you watching, the start of this phase can be a bit ambiguous because not every couple will establish their dating relationship clearly or right away. Especially in your case, since there are feelings being hidden and some of you are already involved with someone else, I wouldn't be surprised if your courtship starts with a bit of one-sided love. For your tarot cards, you have the 3 of Cups, and also you have the 4 of Pentacles. Wow, exactly. The 3 of Cups is a card of celebration and friendship, and it can also warn about a third wheel or third party in romance. Furthermore, the 4 of Pentacles represents possessiveness and wanting to keep something or someone all to yourself. These tarot cards make perfect sense because for some of you, you will start off as friends with your future spouse, and for others of you, you may already be involved with someone else when you first meet. But while your future spouse watches you from the sidelines, they do feel this strong sense of wanting you for themselves with this 4 of Pentacles. You can see how this person is holding onto their coins so tightly. For those of you whose future spouse pursues you from the get-go, these 2 cards represent how they see you as a source of happiness and celebration, and also someone they want to be possessive over. Eventually, you do enter your relationship with each other, and probably toward the beginning of your dating phase, your person may be a little bit too possessive because of your past history or the feeling of almost passing each other by when you first met. Also, there was the 7 of Swords with deception and strong feelings of being confused, lost, and at a fork in the road. So all of these complicated aspects of how you first begin your love journey could be what contribute to this desire to overcorrect and be possessive of each other. We also have some oracle cards for you, and there is Sweet Soul Rising and Unfinished Symphony, as well as the South Node with the message of don't let your past hold you back. So it's pretty clear that your dating phase will soon head on the right track. I'd actually like to read you an excerpt from the guidebook for this Sweet Soul Rising card. It says, "You may feel lost in your own thoughts and feelings. This is the sweetness of surrender into another world. It's a time to dream, to wonder, not to be clear and sharp right at this precise moment. If you have a clear plan, let it become soft and feel your heart open to allowing whatever may be. The number on this card is 20. The 2 represents you and your person, and the 0 talks about infinite possibilities and potential and being open and receptive toward them. This is how your future spouse will be seeing you at this point in your love journey. You are the one that reminds them to feel instead of being up in their heads. This card has such sweet, kind, and forgiving energy, and your person is grateful that you are so accepting and gentle with them, allowing them the time and space they need to work out their own issues and then come forward to you in the right way. The Unfinished Symphony card reminds me of unfinished business and a lack of closure, so you cannot move forward. For a lot of you, this represents how the dating phase of your love journey will be about fixing your initial misunderstandings and deceptions in order to learn who each other truly is and to build the healthy and solid relationship you both deserve. Don't let the past hold you back is saying that your future spouse will recognize that they cannot let their past prejudice or past experience, either with you or with previous romantic connections, to tint and bias the way that they love you and the way you two build your relationship. I also have some channeled messages from your future spouse in the dating part of your relationship. We have connection and also yours to keep forever. Aw, this is one of my favorite messages in these cards. And I think particularly during some of the more difficult times, especially at the beginning of your dating phase, if you ever feel insecure or question whether your person feels the connection as much as you do, they want to tell you that yes, they certainly feel and believe in this connection. In fact, it is the strength of your connection that helps them to continue to move forward and to find the courage needed to face inner demons and step into their better self. And as for the yours to keep message, I think this is quite adorable because we saw that they want to claim you as theirs with the 4 of Pentacles card. But at the same time, they want to belong to you as well. They don't just want to take your heart for themselves. Instead, it's a trade that they're after because they want to give you theirs in return. And there's a lot of confidence and security with this message, so it shows that your future spouse is certain that you will keep their heart safe. Finally, for the last part of today's reading, let's find out about how your future spouse sees you after you get married. This will also show us a comparison of a then versus now. Maybe their opinion of you has completely transformed, and I'm hoping any deception or misunderstandings will be cleared up by now. So for the tarot portion, you have the Ace of Wands, and also the 4 of Wands. Wow, I'm really happy to see these wonderful cards. The Ace of Wands talks about creation, inspiration, excitement, new adventures, confidence, and passion. And the 4 of Wands is all about solid foundations, reunion, stability, and celebration. The 4 of Wands is also the 1111 card, so it represents the soulmate or twin flame union. The 4 of Wands is also passionate fire energy, but it's a slow and steady burn that lasts a lifetime. Your future spouse sees you as their soulmate or twin flame and recognizes that the hardships you may have experienced together before your union were part of the lessons you were meant to learn. In fact, the sweetness of your married life and the healthy relationship you two have built together is even more appreciated by both of you because you had tasted the bitterness of struggles in your past to act as a stark contrast. Your person also sees you as so incredibly attractive with all this fiery wands energy, and they see you as the love of their life, and they are so grateful to have you as their partner. We also have some oracle cards for you now. You have the Lovers. Wow, I really appreciate how simple this image is. It shows that when you are sure that someone is your person, it's so simple and so clear. There needn't be any embellishments or fancy distractions. You also have soulmates. Oh my gosh, another confirmation. And finally, there is the new moon in Cancer, with you and your loved ones are safe. This is really beautiful. Although you and your future spouse start off with a lot of possible challenges and hardships at the beginning of your love journey, you are rewarded with this wonderful outcome. And you got 3 cards to confirm that you were meant to be together. You have the 4 of Wands 1111 card, then you have the Lovers card, and also the Soulmates card. Perhaps a lot of you watching need to hear some encouragement right now that your partner is definitely out there for you, and that's why all these cards are coming out together to assure you and be your confirmation. It makes sense though, since many of you may be facing your storms at the beginning of this love journey with your future spouse. So the cards want to remind you that you deserve to be happy, and you will be happy. In your marriage, your future spouse sees you as their soulmate and their lover. They have so much fiery, explosive, passionate energy for you, but also this stable and secure love. I was saying earlier that this Lovers card has such a simple, beautiful message. These 2 lovers are looking up at the sky. Maybe they are stargazing or watching the clouds. And here, the only additional thing is this cute little flower. This is showing to me that in your person's eyes, even the common, simple, everyday things are wonderful when they're with you. They want to just watch the clouds and stars with you, and you remind them to stop and smell the flowers and enjoy the little things in life. And actually, one thing I'm noticing is that the swirl in this card looks a little reminiscent of the energy swirls in the Coming Together card. But whereas the Coming Together card has 2 clashing swirls that came together but remained separate, there is only 1 swirl in this Lovers card, and it's so simple and so calm. I would like to interpret this as the union where 2 become 1, and everything is easy and simple as it should be. I was getting the feeling at the beginning of your love journey that things were complicated and messy, so it's really lovely to feel this simple and calm energy now. In the Soulmates card, we see these 2 adorable penguins, and one is holding a golden key that looks like it unlocks the other one's heart. Many species of penguins are well known for mating for life with only one partner, and both partners actively contribute to taking care of their nest and babies together. Your person sees you as their one and only, and you have the key to their heart. Also, we see this face up in the sky, so this refers to how they believe your union is divinely guided. And finally, for the new moon in Cancer card, your future spouse feels safe leaving their heart in your hands, and they want you to know that yours is also safe in their hands. There's a strong sense of safety and security between the 2 of you, and this card always gives me the feeling that it's the universe saying this message and telling you that it has your back and will keep you and your loved one safe. Last but not least, let's finish your reading with some channeled messages from your person. These are the things that they want you to know the most throughout your married life together. You got union, And also, it's love. Yes, it is love. I think at this point it's so clear that your person believes 100% in your union and in your love together. You have the Four of Wands, the Lover's card, the Soulmate's card, and now the message of union and its love. Things definitely started out rocky for you, but it makes me so happy to see your love story turn out so beautifully. I've actually been smiling dumbly for the entire last section of your reading. Those are all the messages I have for you today. I hope you liked this format of the 3 mini readings. Feel free to claim all the messages you would like, and please remember that this is a general reading, so don't worry if not every single message was for you. Also, I always want to remind you that we all have the ability to shape our own destinies. So please feel empowered, because if there's something you don't like in your reading, trust that you can definitely influence and change it. Please let me know in the comments below if things resonated for you, and please feel free to leave a like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one. This reading is for those of you who have chosen the blue butterfly. Welcome to your reading all about how your future spouse sees you throughout the different stages of your love journey together. First things first, I'd like to say thank you all so much for leaving such lovely comments and for liking my videos. It really does help this channel grow, so thank you all for your support and for your love. In today's reading, we'll be figuring out how your future spouse sees you during 3 different phases of your love journey. The first phase will be when you and your future spouse initially meet. The second is when you two are dating. And finally, the third will be when you two are married. It'll kind of feel like 3 mini readings, so I hope you will enjoy. We will really be tuning into how your future spouse sees you in the depth of their heart. So these could include messages that they might be too shy to tell you, or even some discoveries that are different from how you think they see you. Starting with part 1 of this reading, which will be on how your future spouse sees you when you first meet. This would be their very first impression of you, or what they think about you when you have just entered each other's lives. For some who may not meet in person with your future spouse at first, this refers to that initial phase when you begin to communicate and get to know each other. Regardless of if your first meeting was online, via text, in the real, or whatever your unique situation may be, let's find out how they really see and feel about you at the very start of your journey together. First, for your tarot cards, you have the Hierophant and also the King of Wands. I can tell right away that from the first moment you meet, your future spouse will have a lot of respect for you. Perhaps you are very competent or smart or skilled, and through your person's eyes, you are someone who commands and deserves respect. They think you are amazing and are very impressed by you. You can see that both the Hierophant and the King of Wands are sitting on their thrones and both very high and mighty. It could even be that for some of you, your future spouse's first impression of you is that they are a little bit intimidated by you, or that they really look up to you. They see that everyone else around you also recognizes that you are a beautiful, glistening diamond, and they feel that you are oozing with confidence and you're a natural leader. Even if you don't think you are this impressive yourself, your person definitely sees you this way through their eyes. If we break it down a bit more, the Hierophant is about traditions, virtue, commitment, and doing things by the book. It's likely that your future spouse sees you as this authority that people look up to in some respect. For example, maybe you are very knowledgeable in your field of work, or you are in a high power position in life. It could also be something like you are very in tune with your spirituality, or that you know your inner self very well. So you just radiate a confidence and self-knowing that attracts others to look up to you and to seek your advice. The Hierophant also represents ceremony and marriage. So for some of you watching, this could mean that right off the bat, your future spouse sees you as marriage material. Even if they are a little intimidated by how perfect you are in their opinion, they probably have daydreams about marrying you, or maybe they've clearly put you into the category of the type of person they would like to take home to meet their parents. However, while they see you as this traditional, more conservative type, or someone who plays by the rules and respects and upholds the rules, they also see you as this passionate, fiery, charismatic King of Wands. But while the King of Wands represents charm and passion, sensuality and chemistry, we can see that this King of Wands is wearing a very stern expression. So it could be that some of you do not easily show other people this exciting, fun side of you, but your future spouse is able to recognize it in you right away. With both the virtuous Hierophant and also the passionate King of Wands, your future spouse sees you as the best of both worlds, and they definitely feel a lot of instant chemistry and attraction towards you from the beginning. The expression, a lady in the streets and a freak in the sheets, is coming to mind. Moving on to some oracle cards next. We have Devotion to the Small, and also Truth Be Told, and finally Full Moon in Sagittarius with Look at the Bigger Picture. Let's start with the Devotion to the Small card. Somehow I get the feeling that your future spouse sees themselves as this small flower compared to the big bright light and greatness that they think is you. However, they really appreciate that you treat them with the same level of respect that they give to you, and they are touched that, wow, this amazing person is treating me like an equal, and they're interested in what I have to say and how I feel. This could refer to how your person sees you as down-to-earth and kind to everyone, no matter how seemingly less successful or less smart or less accomplished these other people are compared to you. For example, an ultra-powerful CEO of a huge company could easily be arrogant and have that mightier-than-thou attitude. But instead, this CEO is so easygoing and earthly and knows and greets everyone, even the cleaning staff, by name. Your person sees you as this kind of person who gives everyone their due respect because you know that there is something you can learn from each individual, no matter who they are or how well off they are in life. And your person feels that you're someone who sees the bigger picture very clearly. You understand the higher meaning of life, and in their eyes, you appear to know your own purpose and direction. Like I mentioned before, it could be because you are very in tune with your higher self, or you know exactly who you are or who you want to become, and so you understand to take care of the small and grasp the bigger picture in life. As such, you are an inspiration to your future spouse to also level up and step into their higher self. With this Truth Be Told card, we can see this owl has the window to its soul wide open, and the owl is perched on top of this mask instead of hiding behind it. This could represent how your future spouse sees you as such a genuine and open-hearted person who does not pretend to be someone you are not. They see you as brave and unapologetic and authentic. Similarly, this could also be how they feel toward you. They feel a sense of confidence that they can open up to you and show you what's inside their own heart, and also tell you their truest thoughts and shed their own masks. I also see that this devotion to the small card is number 32, and truth be told is 14. The digits of both these numbers reduce to 5, and 5 is all about change. So for a lot of you watching, when you first meet, your future spouse will feel inspired by you to change and improve. They may be feeling small compared to you right now, but they are called to grow and transform and catch up to you, and finally become worthy of walking by your side. For a majority of you watching, it's possible that due to this, your future spouse will not pursue you romantically when you first meet each other. Maybe they don't feel good enough for you yet, but they are also seeing the bigger picture, and they have confidence that strategic withdrawal is not a loss. They want to work on themselves and come back to you when they think they can be a good match for you. I also have some channeled messages from your future spouse. These are things they want to tell you at this initial phase of your love journey. Perhaps they cannot or do not want to tell you these things at this very moment, but this is what they are thinking in the depths of their heart. You have trust. And also, wait for me. This trust message ties in well with the energy of our Truth Be Told card. Your future spouse feels an intuitive sense of trust with you, and they see you as trustworthy as well. And so they feel safe to share their true self with you. As for the wait for me message, I think this fits quite well with the situation we saw earlier, where for a lot of you, your future spouse could feel initially not good enough for you, or they're inspired by you to change and evolve into the version of them they have always wanted to be. This message is a gentle request expressing that they would love if you would wait for them, but they would never expect you to do so because they think you deserve the very best right here, right now, and always. For those of you who do like your future spouse at this initial phase of your love journey, but are frustrated or feeling a little insecure, wondering why they aren't making a move on you, or if they're appearing to seem uninterested in you romantically, with these two messages, they are saying that they trust in your connection and they just need a bit of time or space first in order to meet you at the high level at which they already see you. Now for this second part of the reading, we will take a look at how your future spouse views you during your dating and courtship phase. For some of you, the boundary of this phase can be a bit ambiguous because not every couple will establish their dating relationship clearly or right away. One of you might take longer to realize you are in love, or maybe you start out with one chasing the other. So please keep this in mind for this part of your reading. First, for the tarot cards, you have the Fool, and also the Six of Wands. The Fool is about a fresh new beginning, having trust, and taking a leap of faith, and an exciting adventure full of possibilities. It's a very innocent and carefree energy filled with pleasure and passion. As the two of you enter your dating phase, your future spouse is overflowing with excitement because they love learning new things about you and getting to see the fun, simple, and carefree side of you. Compared to the accomplished and charismatic side of you that most people see, and which your future spouse also saw at the beginning, this version of you is so much more raw and unfiltered. Your person will really enjoy being able to find out about your silly quirks and your playful and goofy side. This fresh new confidence in taking a leap of faith could also be your person feeling good enough to seriously pursue you now. And in response, you reward them with praise and acknowledgement for their growth, because the Six of Wands represents recognition, accomplishment, and triumph. Your future spouse sees you as their cheerleader and the person who encourages them and makes them feel seen and appreciated. At the same time, they see you still as someone they respect so much, and as they get to know you more and more, they're even more impressed by you and your talents and wonderful personality. I think they continue to see you as an inspiration for them to continue to grow and evolve, because they recognize that they still have a long ways to go. You are like this beautiful, magical creature. Not only are you successful, charming, inspiring, they are now beginning to also learn of your playful, innocent, and adorable side. This makes them fall in love even more with you, and they gain a continued drive to keep growing by your side. Now moving on to some oracle cards, we have Drop into Your Heart and Chop Wood, as well as New Moon Eclipse with the message Expect Powerful Change. First of all, it looks like in this part of your love journey, you and your future spouse will be making some very deep heart connections. They and you will be dropping into your heart spaces and really connecting with each other in a genuine and intimate kind of way. This card actually gives me a very strong, passionate energy, but this kind of passion is gentle and connected. The kind of passionate encounter that leaves you with tears in your eyes, because when you become one with a person you love, you are connecting not only physically, but also, and more importantly, with your hearts. But while you have this powerful magical connection building in intensity between the two of you, you also have this Chop Wood card. This card is one of my favorites in this deck because it's about the simple, everyday, and seemingly little or unimportant things that may easily be overlooked or deemed as mundane or boring. It's about being humble and going back to basics and enjoying the everyday simplicities with each other. I love the message in the guidebook for this card, so I'd like to read you the relationship part. It says, nothing is as important right now as just doing what you need to do day to day. Let your heart remember that not everything has to be hard-won, passionate, or even obviously meaningful. Relationships and friendships go through lulls when the everyday tasks are at the center of awareness. That is perfect now. Hold hands, wash dishes, make a fire, read a book, share a meal, say nothing, stare into space, pick up socks, tell a dumb joke, and leave space to breathe. The work of your relationship right now is very simple, just to be present. Funny how it takes work to just be. All is well, really. I love this message so much. This kind of energy is what a long-lasting relationship and marriage are primarily founded upon. It's like the feeling of the old couple who have been together for decades, but who continue to enjoy each other's company even when things are not passionate or exciting. But while you and your future spouse will have the pleasure of enjoying this kind of peace, your relationship is definitely balanced out by your share of magical passion and connection that we felt with the Drop into Your Heart card. And as for this New Moon Eclipse card talking about powerful change, this card is confirmation that what you want is coming to you. However, there could be difficult lessons that you need to learn first before your dreams come true, but things will definitely be in motion. This change could refer to the transformation that your future spouse has been working toward this whole time. This could also refer to changes your person sees in you or in themselves as the two of you grow together. Since it's talking about a new moon, it is another confirmation of how much your person appreciates the new exciting things that are in store for the two of you, like we saw before with the Fool card. We also have some channeled messages from your person. These are things that they want to tell you the most during your dating phase. Maybe they're a little too shy to tell you straight up, or perhaps they're not the words of affection type. But let's take a look at what their heart wants to tell you. You have your voice, your scent, your warmth, and also dream come true. Yes, they love so many things about you. Compared to the beginning when they saw you as this image of perfection, they're now learning so much more about you during your dating phase, and they realize that you are in fact a real, genuine, and multifaceted person. They're getting to know and they're falling in love with the little things about you, like your voice, your scent, as well as the big things about you, like the warmth of your heart. And even if they never come out and tell you straight up, they honestly think you are their dream come true. And finally, for the last part of our reading, let's find out about how your future spouse sees you after you get married. We can have a little comparison of then versus now. Has their opinion of you completely transformed? How do they see you now that you've walked through the first parts of this love journey together? Starting with the tarot portion, there is the moon and also the Empress card. As you may know, the moon is one of the cards to which I connect quite deeply, and it's about intuition, divine wisdom, insight, and more than meets the eye. Your future spouse sees you as this deep soul that is so wise and full of insight. The moon is also about delving within and doing shadow work, so this could mean that your future spouse sees you as the kind of person who is constantly aware of the room for continued inner growth, and they really admire that you have the courage to keep looking within yourself and to keep facing your shadows in order to keep evolving. This also reveals that your person is able to see and respect your unseen sides as well, because they feel deeply spiritually connected to you. On the other hand, the Empress is a bright, warm, beautiful energy that embodies patience, love, generosity, and acceptance. This is as close as we can get to true unconditional love, and this wonderful Empress is how your person sees you in your marriage. Regardless of whether you identify more with the masculine or the feminine, the Empress represents abundance in love, and it's really sweet that this is how your person sees you. For those of you whose future spouse takes quite a lot of time or space in the first parts of your journey for their own evolution, this card also represents their gratitude for your patience and your support that you gave to them when they needed it the most. Now for your oracle cards, we have the Legacy of Light and Breathe, and also Full Moon in Aquarius with Show the World the Real You. First, with this Legacy of Light card. The image and the colors and energy actually remind me of the Empress card. I'd like to interpret this as your future spouse seeing you as this bright and wonderful creature radiating light and allowing them to bask in your warmth. The legacy part also makes me think that your person thinks you have left your legacy in the depth of their soul, such that in this lifetime, and maybe in the lifetimes to follow, they will always remember you and the connection between the two of you. Because you've left your mark, your legacy, and this legacy is full of light and beautiful energy. Moving on to the Breathe card, this is all about achieving balance, peace, and wellness, and slowing down and taking the time that you need. It's about being present and savoring the moment and being at ease within the self and with each other. There's a very beautiful and mature sense of comfort and trust between you and your person, such that being together is effortless, and both people are relaxed in each other's presence. In your future spouse's eyes, even if there is chaos out in the cold, messy world, when they come home to you, they can breathe easy and physically feel all of their stress just melt away. And finally, with the full moon in Aquarius card, talking about showing the world the real you, for a lot of you watching, this is referring to your future spouse feeling they are able to finally become their true self when they're with you. As we saw from the beginning, they may not have felt they were good enough to be your partner, and they may have thought that they still had a long way to go. Here, with this card, they're able to come full circle and finally feel that they are their complete, true self that they've always wanted to be. And as such, they're confident enough to marry you and to take on the commitment and responsibility to be your person. As well, within your marriage, they feel seen in their entirety, and that you not only see the real them, but you also treasure and cherish them, and you're proud of them as well. Now, before we end your reading, I would like to take a look at some channeled messages that your future spouse wants you to know throughout your marriage together. You have, you ignite me. And also, I do care. Of course, this you ignite me message is talking about the passion and spark that you bring to life within your person. Even after marriage, the chemistry remains strong and they're always longing for you. However, another interpretation of this igniting is with your light being a spark of inspiration. Your light is infectious, and throughout your entire love journey, you have been inspiring your person to continue to grow and eventually shine as brightly as how they see you. As for I do care, I feel that for a lot of you watching, your future spouse may not really be the verbal type. Words of affirmation may not be one of their top love languages to express love, or perhaps they find themselves rather ineloquent or shy to verbalize their feelings. With this message, they want to make sure that you know they do care about you and have always cared about you and always will care about you. Maybe they feel like they don't tell you this enough, although I'm sure they do show you that they care through their actions. Those are all the messages I have for you today. I really enjoyed doing this reading for you and hope that you also liked your 3 mini readings. Please feel free to claim all the messages you would like, and remember this is a general reading, so don't worry if not every single message was for you. Also, as always, I'd like to remind you that we all have the ability to shape our own paths. So please feel empowered, because if there is something you don't like in your reading, trust that you do have the ability to influence and change it. Please let me know in the comments below if things resonated for you, and please feel free to leave a like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one. This reading is for those of you who have chosen the purple butterfly. Welcome to your reading all about how your future spouse sees you throughout the different stages of your love journey. First and foremost, I would like to say thank you all so much for leaving such lovely comments and for liking my videos. It really does help this channel grow. I really appreciate all of your support and love. In today's reading, we'll be channeling how your future spouse really sees you from the bottom of their heart during 3 different phases of your relationship journey. These 3 phases will include when you and your future spouse first meet, when you two are dating, and finally when you two are married. So it'll kind of feel like 3 mini readings. We'll really be peeling back the layers and tapping into how your future spouse truly sees you. So there could be messages that they're too shy to tell you, or ideas that are a little different from how you think they see you. In this first part of the reading, we'll be looking into how your future spouse sees you when you first meet. This could be their very first impression of you, or what they think about you when you've recently entered each other's lives. For some of you who may not meet in person at first, this will refer to that initial phase when you begin communicating and getting to know each other. Regardless of whether your first meeting was online, via text, in the real, or whatever your unique situation may be, this part of the reading will reveal how they really see and feel about you at the beginning. First, for your tarot cards, we have the 4 of Cups, and also the 5 of Wands. This is very interesting. The 4 of Cups talks about being indifferent, disinterested, or bored. As you can see, this person is absorbed in his own thoughts and completely ignorant of the love offering in this cup that the universe is handing him. This card also represents being preoccupied in your own world or with introspection and not being receptive of others' offers or not seeing the opportunities that are knocking on your door. The 5 of Wands, though, is almost on the other end of the spectrum because it talks about heated conflict, chaos, and clashing or resistance. You can see on the image here that all these people are fighting and the energy is quite turbulent and animated. There are a few ways these 2 cards can be interpreted. For some of you, your future spouse will see you as romantically uninterested in them when you first meet, while others may cause your person to feel that you're actively clashing against them or trying to fight them. For example, it could be that you are focused on something else at the point in your life when you two first meet, so you allot no energy toward romance. Or perhaps you actually are interested in your person, but for whatever reason, you give them the impression that you aren't. Maybe it's because you are timid or hiding your feelings, or maybe you're a little bit awkward by nature and you suddenly don't know how to behave around the person you like. It's like how a little boy might pull on his crush's hair and tease them and be extra mean to them and end up giving off the completely wrong impression. Or like how a very shy and introverted person may really want to form a connection with their crush, but they go extra quiet and freeze up and end up making their crush think they're not interested or even annoyed. The 5 of Wands can also talk about competition and fighting in this sense. So for a few of you, it could even be that when you first meet your future spouse, the 2 of you end up as rivals. For example, maybe it's at work and you are both fighting for the same position or competing to see whose proposal is picked. Or maybe it's in school and you two are the top 2 students going head-to-head for the highest mark. And for a few of you, it could even be your person competing with other people to gain your affection instead of competing against you. All in all, regardless of if you intended to come off in this way or not, your future spouse may see you as someone who is very indifferent or even dissatisfied or irritated with them when you first meet. So it's very possible for many of you watching that you and your person could start off on bad terms or even see each other as rivals or enemies. If this Four of Cups and Five of Wands situation is sounding like yours, I am interested to know what exactly your circumstance is, so please feel free to leave a comment and share your story. We also have some oracle cards to give us a little bit more information. You have the Heart of the Moment and Here and Now, as well as Full Moon in Leo with Don't Let Pride Get in Your Way. This Heart of the Moment card is talking about how right now is a critical moment. This moment is a key turning point in your life path, and it'll bring forth an important transition or transformation. In addition, you have the Here and Now card, which is confirming this same message. Both of these cards are saying that for your person, they could feel that there is something special or powerful or crucial about this moment when they meet you. It's like they are hit in the face with a ton of bricks, or like they're being splashed with a bucket of water. Or they're feeling an electric shock of an instant connection when they first encounter you. So whether they realize it at the moment or not, it's probably love at first sight. I know it's kind of funny to say that they felt love at first sight, seeing how they saw you as uninterested or even as a rival or enemy, but this is exactly what the cards are saying. If your person is more in tune with their inner voice and higher self, they may notice that this explosion of energy is actually attraction. But if they're not yet on the same frequency as their intuition, they may mistake this energy as displeasure or distaste. Looking more closely at the Heart of the Moment card, the feel of this card with this red aura reminds me a lot of the intense and fierce energy of the Five of Wands. As well, the Heart of the Moment also makes me think of the heat of the moment. And again, this could be confirming that at the moment you first meet, there is an explosive burst of energy. This could mean for some of you that you or your person, or even both of you, may act a little hot-headedly due to being caught in the heat of the moment. I'm suddenly getting the image of how in movies you have the main characters having a heated argument, and out of the blue they start making out with each other angrily. For very few of you, this may actually be the case, or at least it probably is what you or your person may have wanted to do in your head, but you are too chicken to do it in actual real life. As for the full moon in Leo warning about pride, I think it makes a lot of sense with what we already saw with the previous cards, that pride may play a significant part of why things turn out like this. Maybe you or your person could be refusing to admit your attraction to each other, or even of admitting it inwardly to yourselves, because of pride or ego getting in the way. Also, since Leo is the lion, and a group of lions is referred to as a pride, peer pressure or social pressure may also be a part of why you come off as this Four of Cups or Five of Wands to your person when you first meet. For example, if you first met your future spouse when you were a little girl in school and all your friends were saying boys are gross, then when your guy comes to confess to you, you might pretend that you don't like him because boys are gross. Or maybe your person works at a rival company, so you feel pressure to be mean to them even though you may actually really like them. Of course, these two are very specific examples, but I think you get the idea. And before we conclude this first part of your reading, let's take a look at some channeled messages cards to tell us what your future spouse is thinking in the depth of their heart when you first meet. These are probably things that they would not or could not tell you at the time. You have the One, and also maybe. Yes, this makes sense. Like we mentioned before, especially for those of you whose person is more in tune with their intuition, they likely will recognize you as the one. But because you come off as uninterested or even aggressive, they may second guess themselves. Looking at everything we have here, for the majority of you who picked this pile, you and your future spouse probably do not become romantically involved when you first meet. Maybe you met in your youth when both of you were immature and you didn't know what you wanted, or maybe the timing was just wrong at the moment. However, worry not, because since they end up as your future spouse, of course we know that you eventually will be together. So let's jump to the second part of the reading, where we will take a look at how your future spouse sees you during your dating and courtship phase. For some of you, the definition of this phase can be a bit ambiguous because not every couple will establish their dating relationship clearly or right away. Sometimes people take longer to realize they are in love, or maybe you start out with one of you chasing the other. First, for your tarot cards, you have the Knight of Pentacles and the Two of Cups. Wow, I love this. I'm really happy to say that this looks like whatever complicated love-hate situation you had when you first met will be changing for the better. The Knight of Pentacles is someone steadfast who is all about knowing what he wants and going for it. However, he's also the slowest moving knight, so I wouldn't be surprised if, for a lot of you, it takes a while for you and your person to become official. This does make sense though, because since you two may have started off on the complete wrong foot, it will probably take a certain amount of time or effort to clear the air and resolve conflicts and dispel misunderstandings. But the Knight of Pentacles is reliable and devoted, so your future spouse is seeing you as this reliable partner in this dating and courtship phase as the two of you get to know each other and right what had gone wrong at the beginning of your love journey. Whatever misunderstanding or mask with being indifferent or being rivals will be shed, and your person feels you two are coming toward each other the right way now. When you finally get together though, it's this beautiful Two of Cups energy. The Two of Cups is a soulmate card all about union, bonding, and partnership. So your future spouse will eventually see you through eyes filled with love and view you as their perfect match. Now moving on to your oracle cards, we have the Pearl Threaded and Clean It Up, and also the North Node with Step Out of Your Comfort Zone. Right away, I'm noticing the image on the Pearl Threaded card looks a lot like two cups containing pearls, and the strings connecting the pearls are like the string of fate that ties two people together. This card talks about feeling that bond with another and reassurance that you are not alone because we are all connected. This card further confirms the fact that your future spouse will really be seeing you as their person, and now they are very certain that you are indeed the one they were meant to be with, which was something they were only feeling maybe about when you first met. However, like we said before, there is still a lot to clear up between the two of you as you continue to learn about each other and grow together. As we see with this Clean It Up card, the two of you will be doing a lot of housekeeping and clearing the air of past problems. As well, your person will see that you are willing to step out of your comfort zone for them, and they are probably willing to do the same to meet you in the middle with this message on the North Node card. The North Node represents your fate that you are destined to head toward and to realize. So here is another confirmation that your future spouse will be seeing you as the one they are divinely guided to be with. I now have some channeled messages from your person which will show us what things they want to tell you from the depths of their heart. I wanted to get only 2 cards per section, but all 3 of these came out for you at the same time. So it looks like your person really has a lot to say to you here. You got Leap of Faith and Soulmates. Wow. And also, yes, yes, absolutely. Look, you have the 2 of Cups, the Pearl Threaded, the North Node, and now Soulmates, and yes, all of them confirming that your person sees you as their partner in love and in life. Leap of Faith is reflecting your person's solid resolution, probably toward the beginning of your dating phase or during difficult times where the 2 of you must work through past conflicts and issues. They are determined to overcome whatever obstacles get in your way, and they have faith to leap forward with you. And I love how at the beginning your person was thinking that you were the one maybe, and now they are so certain that yes, you are soulmates. I'm honestly really happy to see how your future spouse's view and opinion of you have changed since your first meeting. So now let's see how it continues to change with this last part of your reading. In this last part, we'll be figuring out how your future spouse sees you after your marriage and throughout your married life. For the tarot portion, first we have the Strength card and also the Ace of Pentacles. The Strength card is about courage, inner strength, unshakable determination and resolve, and also passion and compassion. The Ace of Pentacles is about abundance, rewards, health, wealth, and thriving. At this point in your love journey, it's clear that your future spouse's view of you and opinion of you are completely different from how they saw you at the beginning of your love journey. Instead of thinking you are indifferent, bored, or disinterested, they see you as full of passion and spark and fire. Instead of seeing you as an enemy or rival to fight against, they're seeing you as their partner in this stable, reliable earth energy that's full of potential. Strength is also the Leo card, and we actually had Leo at the beginning warning us about pride getting in the way. But here we see the lady is getting along with the lion, so it suggests that your person sees you now as someone who has grown so much that your pride and ego have turned into true confidence and strength. This confidence could represent your future spouse's confidence in your connection and in your love for them. While we saw at the beginning that they weren't sure at all whether you felt the connection the way they felt it, we can see here that your person is absolutely sure now. They have no doubt in their mind that you see them as your soulmate, and in that knowing, they are able to feel a great deal of security within the relationship and marriage. This sense of security is also what gives them strength to explore and continue to grow and expand their horizons. The Strength card talks about powerful physical chemistry and attraction too. So although you are married now, the fire between the 2 of you is definitely still burning strong, or perhaps even stronger than ever. Your future spouse sees you as so alluring and enticing, and you simply light them up with passion. I also want to mention that the Ace of Pentacles can talk about a new beginning and fertility as well. So for those of you who want children, this is your person envisioning a future with you in which you two create a family together. They see you as someone who would make a wonderful parent. Now for some oracle cards, we have Intimacy. Ooh. And also there is Treasure Island And finally, New Moon in Leo, with confidence is your key to success. Wow, another Leo card. And also, weren't we just talking about how your person sees you as beautifully confident and how you give them confidence in your connection and in themselves? Maybe you or your person could have a lot of Leo influence in your chart because 3 Leo cards came out in this reading. Or it could be that courage, pride, and confidence are major parts of your or your future spouse's personality or identity. But I like how we are now coming full circle with Leo qualities. First, you begin with negative Leo traits, such as pride, ego, and competition getting in the way of your love journey. But now in the end, you have all the beautiful positive traits of Leo, such as strength, passion, and confidence fueling the rest of your marriage. I love seeing this kind of growth happen. As for the intimacy card, I'm drawn right away to the number 35 here. 3 and 5 add up to 8, and 8 is the number of the strength card. So again, we have another iteration of our message of courage, confidence, passion, and strength. However, compared to the bold and bright energy of the lion in the strength card, the colors, the image, and the message on this card are much gentler and softer. And of course, the concept of intimacy is a quiet kind of confidence, but definitely just as powerful. The artwork on this card is Rassouli's painting called Embrace. It looks like one person is hunched over with their head buried in the other person's accepting arms. It seems like the person being held may be breaking down or crying their heart out, while the other person is patiently listening, caring, and protecting. I suppose this is what true intimacy is, and bringing it back to our strength card, it takes true strength to be the one doing the holding, to be strong enough to support the burdens of another. But at the same time, it takes just as much strength and courage to really bear all and be vulnerable. And this is what it's like to be in a truly intimate love connection with someone. I would like to read you a bit from the guidebook for this card. It says, "Your vulnerability is the key to your growing spirituality. Now is the time to share yourself openly without pretense or defensiveness. Let down the barriers that have held you apart from another, from the divine, from the world, and let yourself be held by the experiences of your life without needing to defend against them. Expect nothing and be open to receive everything. Your vulnerability is your way forward now. You're learning that you have enough strength to truly surrender. You are brave enough to allow yourself to be truly lived by the divine." Wow, yes. This is how your future spouse sees your intimate connection at this point in your love journey. And finally, for the Treasure Island card, this card talks about your manifestations coming to you and discovering, obtaining, and being able to enjoy your treasure. Your person sees you as such a treasure and they want to treasure you and cherish you. The image on this card shows a turtle, and turtles have such long lifespans that can even outlast that of humans. Your person believes that your love will last more than this lifetime. This is a really gorgeous card with such a beautiful energy. Now then, before we end your reading, I'd like to show you some channeled messages. These cards will tell us the deepest thoughts that your future spouse wants you to know throughout the married phase of your relationship. You got, "You complete me," and "Sparks fly," as well as "You're mine." Ooh, again, 3 cards came out. We only had 2 cards for all the sections of all the previous readings, so it looks like your future spouse is really eager to tell you these messages. Maybe they tend not to show it, or perhaps they pretend to be fine sharing your attention with your family, your friends, your children or pets, and your other life priorities. but in their heart, they actually want to be a little cutely possessive of you and to make everyone know that they have claimed you for themselves. Perhaps they don't let on, but maybe they easily get jealous, especially for those of you who are just so full of love and kindness that you like to share with everyone. As for the Sparks Fly message, I think this reiterates what we saw with the Passion from the Leo and Strength cards. So even in marriage, the chemistry between the two of you will not cease to create sparks. And finally, the message of "you complete me" actually makes me think of holding hands. Because if you look at your hand, you see that there are spaces between your fingers. These spaces are waiting to be filled by your person's fingers, and together you complete each other. Maybe your person wants to tell you that now that they have taken your hand and have intertwined your fingers together, they never ever want to let you go. And with that said, those are all the messages I have for you today. I really enjoyed seeing the progression of how your future spouse sees you throughout your love journey, and I hope that you liked this format of 3 mini readings. Absolutely feel free to claim all the messages you would like, and please remember this is a general reading, so don't fret if not every single message was for you. And as always, I want to remind you that we all have the ability to shape and dictate our own futures, so please feel empowered, because if there's something you don't like in your reading, trust that you do have the potential to influence and change it. Please let me know in the comments below if things resonated for you, and please feel free to leave a like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.